Hey y'all, this video is an overview of SDI, California State Disability Insurance. First, I'm going to talk about the difference between SDI and other government programs. Then I'm going to explain who's eligible for SDI, the amount of benefits you can get, how long benefits last, how to apply, and how to appeal if your claim is denied. SDI is a state program run by the EDD, the Employment Development Department. It provides income to people who are temporarily unable to work because of an illness, an injury, or another health condition. SDI is generally for disabilities that are not work-related. If you have a work-related injury, then you should be looking into workers' compensation instead. SDI is a temporary program. You can only get benefits for up to 12 months. If you have a disability lasting 12 months or more, you may be eligible for SSDI or SSI, which are long-term disability programs run by the federal government. If you're able to work but just can't find a job, then unemployment insurance is the right program. Unemployment is for people who can work, and SDI is for people who temporarily cannot work. You can't be on both programs at the same time. It's also important to know that SDI is not job protected. This means that SDI does not require your employer to bring you back when your disability ends. However, there are other laws that can protect your job for up to 12 weeks while you're on leave. If you want to return to your same job within 12 weeks, you should look into applying for FMLA and CFRA in addition to SDI. FMLA and CFRA don't provide disability payments, but they protect your job while you're collecting SDI. There are 6 main requirements to be eligible for SDI. First, you must have worked in covered employment. Most jobs in California are covered by SDI. However, some jobs are not covered. These include independent contractors, some domestic workers, students who work for their schools, church employees, and some others. A small number of employers also opt out of SDI by providing similar benefits through a private plan. If you're unsure whether your employer participates in SDI, you should talk to your manager or HR department. Second, you must be disabled. A disability is any mental or physical condition that prevents you from doing your usual work for at least 8 days. Almost any health condition can count as a disability, including physical illness, mental illness, injuries, surgery, pregnancy, childbirth, and treatment for drug or alcohol addiction. If you're still working but your disability requires you to reduce your hours, you may also be able to get SDI. Third, you must have been working or looking for work when the disability began. Fourth, you must have earned sufficient income in the past. To determine this, the EDD looks at how much money you made during a recent 12-month period called your base period. The base period is a bit complicated, so instead of explaining it here, I'm going to include a link below to the EDD's full explanation. But the basic rule is that you must have earned at least $300 during this recent 12-month period to qualify. Fifth, you must be under the care of a qualifying medical provider or religious practitioner. A religious practitioner, for example, might be a minister you go to for spiritual counseling after the death of a loved one. Your SDI application must include a certificate from the provider or practitioner that explains the disability. And sixth, you must file a timely claim. You have to wait 9 days after your disability starts to apply, and you must apply no later than 49 days. If you miss the 49-day deadline, you might still be able to file if you have a good reason for being late. I also want to mention that undocumented workers are eligible for SDI. You can't collect unemployment insurance if you are undocumented, but you can collect SDI because SDI is funded by taxes taken out of your paycheck. Depending on your past income, you'll receive about 60 to 70% of your regular pay up to a limit. The limit in 2021 is $1,357 per week, but that limit increases over time. The EDD has a helpful benefits calculator that estimates what your weekly benefits will be, and I'll link to it below. There is a 7-day waiting period for all claims. meaning that the EDD will not pay you for the first 7 days that you're on SDI. While on SDI, you can also use any vacation time you have without affecting your benefits. You can also use sick time that you have, but your sick time payments combined with your SDI can't go above 100% of your past weekly wage. This is kind of confusing, so if you want to use your sick time, I recommend talking to your HR department or the EDD to make sure you're handling it correctly. You can receive SDI benefits for a maximum of 1 year. If your benefits run out, but your disability still prevents you from returning to work, you may be able to switch over to SSDI or SSI, which are run by the Social Security Administration. The fastest and easiest way to apply for SDI is online. After you file your claim, the EDD will send a notice of computation that shows your base period, your maximum amount of benefits, and your weekly benefits. Most people start receiving their benefits within 2 weeks of the EDD receiving their claim. You can receive benefits either on a debit card or by check in the mail. If your claim is denied, you can appeal within 30 days of the day the EDD issued your notice of computation. You can still appeal after 30 days if you have a good reason for the delay. On the appeal form, you can explain why you want to appeal, or you can just write, "I disagree, I will present my case at the hearing." You'll then receive a notice stating the time and location of your hearing. At the hearing, an administrative law judge will ask you questions and you'll have the chance to present any relevant information or documents. The hearing is pretty informal and you don't need a lawyer to go with you. The EDD will then send a decision by mail. If your appeal is denied, you can appeal again to the California Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and then again to state court. But the judge's decision is rarely reversed, so you want to present your best argument and evidence at the hearing. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Good luck to you.